One of the most common questions we get at the garden center is, when do I prune my hydrangeas? If you prune them at the inappropriate time, quite often the bloom is affected and you don't get the vigorous bloom that they are so well known for. In the garden here we have a row of endless summer hydrangeas, which is one of the greatest hydrangeas because it is so forgiving when it comes to pruning. It blooms on both old wood and new wood, which means it sets its buds on the older growth from last year as well as any newer growth occurring this year. So really, this hydrangea can be pruned at any time without affecting its bloom. You will notice on these ones that some of the buds from the winter, the leaves are crispy and brown, so they have been nipped by the winter or late winter frost. So in my own garden, I actually take these ones right back to the ground, and you can see towards the bottom that that's where all the new lush green growth is coming from. So we can do those just by clipping back with our pruners. Or an easier method in this case, because we have about 20 of them to do, is I like to take my garden loppers and make sure they're nice and sharp and run along and just clip them all back down to the ground where that new growth is occurring from. This way we get nice lush green growth and then great blooms all summer. Now we're moving over to the PG hydrangea. This variety of hydrangea is PG hydrangeas. It's one of the older varieties and includes new cultivars such as Limelight, which is a great lime green bloom. PG hydrangeas get the big panicles of bloom that start off blooming cream and kind of fade to a pinky rose color. They're a great hydrangea, as are all other hydrangeas, for leaving their blooms on for the winter and giving you great winter interest in the garden. With the PG hydrangeas, they really don't require a lot of pruning. It's more of a maintenance prune that can be done late winter, early spring. And you can go along, take off the dead flowers, which is called deadheading, and then you can prune the shrub for shape. In my garden, this shrub is competing with the shrub next to it for space and seems to be reaching towards the light. So I would eliminate some of the top growth and give it lots of room to grow in for this summer, giving it lots of bloom. So to maintain this one and give it space to grow with the shrub next to it, I would prune it down to a height that gives it proper growing space for this season. I can also eliminate any of the older dead-looking wood to rejuvenate the shrub from the bottom. Next we'll move over to oak leaf hydrangeas, which are another great easy prune. The oak leaf is a great hydrangea in that it's not only known for its flower, it's known for its leaves. Its leaves are a stunning, large oak leaf shape, and they're known for their fall color, turning a great red burgundy in the fall. So with this one, it's really not the flower that it's known for. So when you're pruning it, you're really not affecting too much of the bloom. It's an early spring prune if you are going to prune it, and I like to prune mine for height because I find most of the growth comes from the top, and they can end up looking really woody and leggy down below. So every spring I take my clippers to them, my pruners, and I go right down to the bottom, remove a lot of the older wood, and leave a bit of height at the mid-range to give us some height for the summer, and the bottom can rejuvenate and come up nice lush and green each summer as well. These are all tips for pruning hydrangeas that you would do in the spring, but there are varieties that don't get touched until immediately after they flower. These include things like Nico Blue hydrangea, Pink Beauty hydrangea, any of the variegated hydrangeas, and of course the lace caps. So these ones you don't want to do any spring pruning to because they bloom on their old wood, which means their buds are set in the fall before. These ones should be done immediately after they flower, maintaining their shape and their height and encouraging bloom for the next season to come.